Camera. Good morning to all participants in this meeting. Good morning to all the viewers. And I say welcome to all of us. Thank you for making time out to be part of this program. This is Timeout with Standardlift Consult, episode 2 of training program organized for teachers and school management. We began this series yesterday, and the episode 2 is holding today, educating ourselves on issues that has to do with improving teaching and learning in our schools. Yesterday, we had a presentation on effect of school environment on students' behavior, and today we'll be looking at we'll be talking about classroom management. Today, and our facilitator, Mrs. Janice Moses, is ready for us. I'd like to encourage everyone, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel at Standardlift Consult for updates, and you can also view the YouTube channel to see other contents, other educational content, other training contents that has been uploaded right there. This session is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel immediately after the meeting. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite our facilitator to begin the presentation. Our facilitator today is Mrs. Janet Moses, and she's a seasoned educationist, a professional education manager, and we are pleased to have her in our midst today to train us, to inform us, to educate us on the effect of classroom management. Various strategies that we can deploy to ensure effective classroom management. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Deyinka. Good morning, esteemed school administrator and teachers. The topic we are going to be discussing this morning is effective classroom management strategies. So before we dive into this presentation, I would like to explain what classroom management is. Classroom management refers to how teachers organize and control the whole classroom. This is by making sure she knows everything that is going on during and after the lesson. It includes managing student readiness, behavioral time, and learning activities. A well-managed classroom promotes effective teaching and learning and enhances positive outcome. Classroom management is not just about controlling our learners, as we all know. It's about creating an environment where learning can happen smoothly. When the teachers manage the classroom well, you see our students will feel safe, then they will focused and ready to learn. This will really help us when we manage our classroom very well. So let's move to the presentation proper. So we're going to talk about the importance of classroom management. Number one importance is it promotes discipline and respect. It promotes discipline and respect in the sense that when classroom rules are clearly explained to the learners, or when it is enforced, learners knows what behavior that are acceptable or the behavior that are expected of them. This encourages self-discipline. Then another thing is it reduces distraction and disruptions. When there is no distraction for our learners in the classroom, they will listen to us and they will understand whatever we are teaching them. So it improves learners' engagement. If they listen to us, then they will participate in the class activities. Without proper management, even our best lesson plan can fail, as we know. Students may become noisy or distracted, but good classroom management ensures students stay focused and respect their teachers. Even they actively participate in the lesson. The next one is common classroom challenges that we face as a teacher or as a school owner. Noise and distraction, lack of attention, disruptive behavior, peer influence, and poor time management. As we all know that our learners cannot do without talking or gisting with one another. So in doing this, they all tend to make noise and get distracted easily. But as a teacher, we need to understand or recognize all these challenges. When we recognize all these challenges, it will help us to prepare strategies that will know to handle these challenges because we need to face them and we need to clear them. So as a teacher, we need to recognize all these challenges I've mentioned. Then we need to prepare strategies that we can use that will help us to curb all these challenges. The next one is setting clear rules and expectation. We need to set clear rules for our learners if we want to have effective classroom management. We can set rules like we can tell them to listen when we are talking or when anyone is talking to them, they should listen very well. Then another thing is when they want to answer any question in the classroom, they can raise their hands before talking. That's another rule. Then use of kind words among themselves. Then they should speak politely to one another. These are some rules that I think it will help us in making our classroom management effective. Then another thing is we should explain our expectation clearly to them. We should be consistent with the rules. We should also involve our learners in making these rules because students behave better when they know what is expected of them. For example, the rules I've mentioned earlier, like when they want to talk, they should raise up their hand before speaking. They should respect one another. All these rules guide their behaviors. Then consistency is important. Rules should be applied equally to every one of them if you want to enjoy good classroom management as a teacher. The next one is building positive teacher relationship. We must have a good relationship with our learners. We cannot say because they are our learners, we cannot relate with them because they are small, they are children. We need to relate with them very well. We should show respect to them. When they talk, we should also listen to them as a teacher. Even when they are saying nonsense, when they are saying rubbish, let's still listen to them. This will help us very well in arranging our class very well. Then we should be approachable and friendly as a teacher. Whatever we might have been going through from home, we should not let it reflect on our face when we get to school. We should learn how to be friendly. We should put a smiley face always. Because when they see us happy, they tend to relate with us very well. So if a teacher is friendly, the learner will be able to approach and talk to him freely. So we should encourage participation. Then we should listen to their concerns too. When they want to talk, let's listen to them. By this, we'll be friends with them. They'll be able to share their problem with us. They'll be able to talk with us freely. Then a teacher, nature and attributes of a teacher should be firm. While we are being friendly, we should also be firm. Then students are more likely to behave well when they feel respected and valued. A positive relationship builds trust. When we have good relationship with them, we build trust. Then when students trust teacher, they are more cooperative and willing to learn. When we gain their trust, they will be willing to learn, they will be willing to listen to whatever we want to teach them. And this will really help us very well as a teacher. Then another thing is engaging teaching strategies. So we need to put on all these strategies. We need to engage them. We can use interactive method, discussion group, then group discussion, then group work, then we can ask questions frequently to ascertain if they understand whatever we are teaching them. This is very important. Let's ask them questions. When we ask them questions, they tell us where they are, where they do not understand whatever we are teaching them. Then we should use real life examples what they can see easily around them. Let's use it for them as an example. When we are teaching them, even anytime they want to write an exam or they want to go back to whatever we taught them, they will remember those examples, the real life examples that we used. They will remember them and it will help them to understand and know whatever we are teaching them. Then include visual aids. We should use this, it is very important. Then another thing is incorporating 21st century education approach. We really need this very well as a teacher. In achieving this, we need to upgrade ourselves very well. Very well. This is one of it. We need to attend seminars, training. This is why we need to attend Standardlift training very well. So we need to upgrade ourselves to use the 21st century educational approach, integrating modern teaching and learning method, equipped learner with knowledge. When you use this approach, it equips them with knowledge. As we all know that boring lesson often lead to misbehavior. When our class is too boring, they will be engaging themselves, they will be talking, they will not even listen to whatever we are teaching them. So when lessons are interesting, students stay engaged. They would love to listen to us. So we should let our class be very, very interesting. Then activities like group discussion, like I mentioned, and demonstration make learning more enjoyable and it reduces distraction. The next one is effective time management. This is very important to us as a teacher. We need to plan our lesson ahead of time so that we not just go to class and wasting our time. We need to allocate time for each of our activities in the classroom from the beginning of our lesson to the end of the lesson. So we need to allocate time for each of the activities. Then another thing is we should start and end our lesson on time. We should not stay in class and be wasting our learners' time or wasting even our own time. So we should use our time effectively. Then we should avoid unnecessary delays. Time management ensure that all planned activities are completed. When we manage our time very well, we'll be able to complete all our activities before we run out of time. Then if a teacher wastes time, students may become restless. They might be even sleeping during the lesson. So we don't need to waste our time. We don't need to waste their own time too. So they might even be restless and disruptive. A structured lesson keeps students focused. So we need to let them be focused whenever we are teaching them by using our time management, effective time management. Then handling misbehavior is another thing, strategies we need to watch. Whenever a student misbehave, we need to stay calm and be professional as a teacher or school owner. We need to stay calm whenever we are handling their misbehavior. Because we don't even need a cane before our learner can understand whatever we want to teach them or we are saying to them. When we have good relationship with them, they will be willing to listen to us and understand whatever we are teaching them. So we should identify learners' individual differences and learning patterns. It is very important. Then we should address behavior immediately and individually because if you want to wait till end of the lesson, you might really not get what we really want from the learner. So we can tell a learner to face the wall and still be listening to us while we are teaching them. So we don't need to be using cane every time to beat them whenever they misbehave. Then we should use fair and consistent discipline. Then we should avoid shouting or harsh punishment. Using vulgar language on them is not nice as a teacher. So when students misbehave, reacting angrily can even make things worse. Yes, we must not we must not react angrily. We should be calm in handling their misbehavior. Instead, teachers should remain calm and correct behavior politely but firmly. We need to be firm as a teacher. Consistency helps students understand the consequences. Next one here is creating a positive learning environment. As a school administrator or as a teacher, we need to create a positive learning environment for our learners. We should keep our classroom clean and well organized. In doing this, the student will be able to listen and communicate with us very well. We should encourage teamwork. Group activity help them express themselves clearly. Whatever they might not want to share with us, they will share it among their peers. So when they are having good activities, this will really help them in expressing themselves. Then we should always praise their good behavior and condemn bad behavior. When they do well, let's praise them, let's encourage them, let's let them know that they are doing well. And when they are not doing well, we should also let them know so they can change. We should ensure a serene and conducive and effective learning environment. This is very important. Our learning environment should be very serene and conducive for our learning activities. Then safety, that's another thing. Students learn better when they feel physically and emotionally safe. We should let them feel safe in our school environment. We should encourage safety always. Anything that we can see that may want to injure them or that may want them to feel unsafe, we should not allow it in our school. Then another thing is use of reward and motivation. We should give praises to and recognition to our learners. When they do well, we should praise them. We can use small sticker reward. We can appreciate them. Then we can encourage their efforts, not just their results. We should build learners' confidence. Motivation encourages students to be able, when we motivate them, when we encourage them, it's to encourage them to behave well and participate in the class activities. Reward don't just have to be too expensive. Simple praise or recognition can make a big differences in their behavior. And while we are doing this, we will also enjoy our class and relationship with them. Then the next thing is benefits of effective classroom. When our class is being managed very well, when our class is being managed effectively, we'll see that our learners, they will behave well. Better learners behave, they will behave well. Then it's improve their academic performance. Then strong teacher-student relationship will be built. Then smooth and effective lesson we will achieve that. Then ensure a healthy and efficient learning. When we have, these are the benefits of classroom management. When classroom management is effective, both teacher and students benefit. Lesson runs smoothly, students learn better, and classroom become a positive place for them. Then in conclusion, classroom management is essential for effective teaching and learning. When we teach them very well, when we have effective classroom management, it brings about effectiveness and efficiency. Positive learning outcome is enhanced, then it requires planning, consistency, and patience. Well-organized school setting and invisible heights is ensured. So classroom management is a key skills and teacher must develop. Yes, we have to develop all this as a teacher. It takes time and practice, but the results are worth it if you can do it. Better behavior, better learning, and a better classroom environment will be achieved if we do all this. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe to Standard Lift Consult YouTube channel, as Mr. Adeyinka has earlier said. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Madam Jeanette Moses, our esteemed facilitator, for those words of encouragement and those points you have made to inform us on how to put up a good class environment. I mean, to manage our classroom better for good learning and teaching results. I like to add that when learners are positively and actively engaged, it will help, they won't have the time to disrupt the class and they will want to listen. One important thing is that a teacher must prove to be a master of what is to be taught. For example, I've seen cases where some learners will begin to act disruptively. Let me put it that way. They start disturbing the class, and one of the reasons is because they don't even have confidence in that teacher. This happens if it's a student teacher, when if the teacher doesn't have charisma. We're not saying the student should be afraid of the teacher now, but the appearance of the teacher should command respect. When you are teaching, the way you talk, the way how you coordinate them. And also we have to bring the learners to love us as teachers. When students are in love with you, they will do what you say. And when you correct them, they will listen. When you express displeasure at their behavior, they will feel bad because everyone feels remorseful. Everybody feels bad when a loved one is not satisfied with our actions. So one important weapon that teachers can use is to ensure your learners respect and love you. When they do this, your words will matter. And when we care for them, they will want to please you in return. If you genuinely love and care for them, there's no way, no matter how terrible or how disobedient a child can be, when you show that child love and care, everybody is always subtle towards someone that cares for him or her. It's a natural law of nature. And these learners will also endear themselves, would also be responsive. If they respect you, if they love you, and they believe in you as a carer, then they will also be attentive. And then it's also important to reward them, as our facilitator said, under the use of reward and motivation as a strategy. She stated about 4 points. One of it is give praise and recognition. When we are in class, we should encourage them to participate. And when they participate, we should say things like, thank you, Tunde, for saying that. Let's give Tolu a round of applause. That's a very good answer. Thank you for trying. Even if a child does not say the correct answer, you still appreciate. Thank you for attempting the question. Who else can tell us? Who else has another idea like that? So we always have to reward. When they know that if I make an attempt, if I listen, after all, I have to listen to the teacher to be able to attempt the question. And then when they respond, if they like how the teacher comments them when they participate in class, they will always look up to that class. They will always want to participate. And teachers also should encourage effort. If you find that some learners are laid back, they don't want to respond, some of them, maybe they are not happy, they're just in class, they're just in one corner, and then they just want to write, they just want to leave the class. You should take your time with such learners, move close to them. You could put your hand on their shoulder, you could engage eye contact with them, give them a smile. How are you today? How is Adi and mommy? Then they liven up. All right. So what do you think about this topic? Can you tell us something? They stand up. Tell us something. What do you know? Have you seen this before? Do you like this? That is how to encourage a learner. It is not all about stand up now. You've not talked since morning. If you don't say anything now, I'm going to do it. Such harsh words do not always bring out the best in our learners. And then when these learners are, if they are acting, if they are responding, we want to make sure it's genuine. I want to make sure that the desired result is actually genuine. Also, we should work on their confidence. When we encourage them, when we use good words, when we motivate them, we say things that will move them to want to try. Once they know that even if they get things wrongly, they won't be looked down upon. The teacher will not use the derogatory words at them. Then their confidence is enhanced. And also, and a very, very important factor with respect to classroom management is safety. Safety. We always have to look out for anything that can cause harm in the class. There should be proper lighting. There should be proper ventilation. The classroom arrangement should be comfortable. The furniture should be comfortable. The site. Sometimes learners will start misbehaving if once they can't have good access to the board or what the teacher is displaying or writing, or if they are not carried along properly. Sometimes they may not be hearing what the teacher is saying properly. And also another thing that distracts these learners is the appearance of the teacher. We have to avoid it. And we also should avoid the kind of words or terminologies we use in class. A provocative dress will distract learners. Teacher not dressing appropriately will distract learners. And then don't give your learners the reason to give you a nickname. I know these learners are always watching out for something funny a teacher will say, and they just say, have you seen Mr. This thing? They leave the teacher's name and then they start laughing, So, and then any slight attempt of any learner to disrupt the class, you have to take an immediate action. You have to take an immediate action. And one of the things we need to do is to establish that the learners are in class to learn and be trained, such that it is drummed into their mind that this class is for learning, and you bring their mind into the classroom with even from the period, from the beginning of the class during the introduction, so that we should give them something to look up to, and not just, a teacher just comes into the class. What do you have today? Clean the board. You just are writing. There's no proper introduction, no proper engagement. You've not captured their attention. I remember I used to have a teacher those days in school. We're always looking up to that because the teacher will always do one drama at the beginning of the class. So everybody will, even if you are adults, you can't be absent-minded in that teacher's class, because from the beginning to the end, the teacher is always lively, very engaging. Even if you have to act, that period you will be before those learners, just know that you are acting a role. Whatever it is we might be dealing with, God will help us. We should just lay it aside. And then once we are before those learners as mentors, as role models, we should be at our best behavior. We should give our best to them. And God and posterity will reward us for it. I believe we've been able to learn one or two things via this presentation. Let's open. Okay, let's have one or two comments or one or two questions before we close the training program this morning. Do we have anyone who wants to respond, make a comment, or wants to ask a question with respect to the topic being discussed today? At the absence of no question, I'd like to appreciate our facilitator, Janet Moses. I'd like to appreciate everyone that has joined the program today. The principal of Greenland College, thank you very much. You were the first to join this meeting. That's why I'm mentioning your name specifically, Mr. Solomon. I appreciate you. And everyone, I can see a lot of people, a lot of wonderful school managers and school proprietors and proprietors right here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So please, we have a lot of content, even records of our training program we've had in the past on our YouTube channel. Please do well to subscribe and look at those videos at your leisure time. You can encourage your teachers to check out this content and listen. And I gave an important information yesterday whoever was not in the meeting yesterday should also hear it firsthand. And that is that we are having a statewide training program for teachers across the state in August. That will, by God's grace, it will be a day between the last week in August and the first week in September. We want to make sure that we try and organize a refreshing training program. We are calling it Continuous Professional Development Training Program for Teachers. That is what we are tagging it. We believe it's important for teachers to refresh themselves, to gain some new information about contemporary issues in education. Before we resume into the new session, we should enjoy some new things. We should have some refreshing, some new information, and we are bringing in seasoned lecturers. We're having a professor from Olabisi University, and we're having who will be facilitating. We're also having presenters from Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. Will be bringing in one or two directors to talk to us, and then we'll bring in a business expert and also a tech expert to talk to us. So it's going to be a loaded program, and we are encouraging us to plan ahead for that program. It's going to be a great program. So we appreciate everyone once again. Thank you very much. As we go back to our work, I pray God blesses and reward us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. God bless you, Mr. Adegboyega. Thanks for this.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Yeah.
Bye, ma.
Bye.